PathMonk is the AI for website conversions. With increasing online competition, over 98% of website visitors don't convert. The ability to successfully show your value proposition and support visitors in the buying journey separates you from the competition online. PathMonk qualifies and converts leads on your website by figuring out where they are in the buying journey and influencing them in key decision moments with relevant micro experiences like case studies, intro videos, and much more. Stay relevant to your visitors and increase conversions by 50% by adding Pathmonk to your website in seconds, letting the AI do all the work and increase conversions while you keep doing marketing as usual. Check us out on pathmonk.com. Hey everybody, welcome to today's episode of Pathmonk Presents. Today we're joined by Fei Wu. She's the founder of Feis World Media. Fei, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Rick. So good to be here with you.
Likewise, and we were just talking offline and prepping, for the episode, but I'm excited to get into it, Faye, and I just want to let you drive in a way. Just if you can let us know a little bit about Phase World Media, about yourself, but more than anything, what's the big idea behind Phase World Media? And if you were to explain this to a friend over coffee, how would you describe what you do on a day to day?
Absolutely. Really appreciate your intro. So I started Face World Media back in early 2016. If you counted the podcast, that would be 2014. But as I mentioned before the recording, I've been transforming and pivoting my business. And then the past couple of years, probably to nobody's surprise, we are now working with very big AI and tech companies to help them build contextual footprint. We can get into what that is. So specifically, we write long form quality blog posts. We produce videos, a lot of tutorials. If I tell my friends, like my coach at the CrossFit gym, I tell him that I teach everyday people to not be intimidated by AI, and I teach them how to use it. And more specifically, my audience, for example, on YouTube, target creators and small business owners like ourselves. And that's what we're focusing on. And I have a lot of joy and also a lot of flexibility as a result of choosing this path. I'm really excited to really share and teach and collaborate with other AI companies. Help them realize, just by having your content exist on your website ads, that's not sufficient. Humans need to trust it. You need to help AI understand, contextualize who you are. So that's what we do.
No, that's a great point. I love the bit about video, and that just brings me to what we do at Pathmonk in a way, in a sense that we use video a lot in our product. So I'm sure there's things we can talk about around that as well. But going back to Phase World Media, I want to talk about a little bit. What kind of people do you serve, and are there any specific businesses? I know you mentioned AI right now. It's
Mhm.
super relevant, of course, but uh, in a way, I would love to understand if there's a key problem that you have these companies or these people solve, and what can they work, what can they expect rather when they work with you?
For sure. I'm happy to, give out some specific names that people may recognize. So in the past two
Name drop
years,
it.
name drop. So we've been working with Adobe, specifically Adobe Express, Adobe Firefly, and AI companies such as the leading audio and video software 11 Labs. They were originally focused very much on audio, but now they're actually a full audio video platform. We also work with Synthesia, which is all about AI avatar. And before we started recording, you mentioned note taking. I am absolutely in love with Granola AI, which is an AI notepad. So instead of joining the session, it's taking notes quietly on the side. And during the conversation, you can even, during the recording, you can have conversations with Granola, like, how do I improve this? What are some of the questions I should be asking, but I'm not yet? Things like that. And most recently, there's also Mitra. Mitra AI helps place phone calls, can accept calls as well as making calls for caregivers, for small business owners. And I get to interact with these founders, which is something that I really love. Maybe at 11 Labs Adobe, I don't get to talk to the CEO, but for example, at Mitra, I get to speak, with Sai, the founder, and really get down to business, understand what they're struggling with, and make this interaction as human as possible. So what I help them solve, I notice, is, for example, there are, Adobe has a lot of influencers out there and they have incredible big accounts. We're talking about 500,000, a few million people following those accounts. And when they talk about, a new release, a new feature, people will sign up. But my job is to do the less sexy work, which is really teaching people how to use it, relating to real workflows as a business owner. And this is what you do. And let's also show the imperfections of the software, show them when things don't work, how to get around it, how to really understand that we should interact with different AI tools. So there's a lot of trials and errors, and which I'm happy to dive into.
Of course. Well, it's super interesting and just, but you, well, of course, Adobe and just that company itself, that's impressive. But just the also the tools that you're mentioning already. I mean, this is getting interesting because, everyone, I love to geek out on a tech stack, right? Myself
Hmm.
personally, I
Yeah.
know our audience loves it too. So, we could keep going on that. But at the same time, I'm curious, how do these company discover you? Are there
Hmm.
any channels that you're using at the moment? Maybe it's your YouTube channel. Like,
Hmm.
how does that work for you in terms of acquisition?
Yeah, great question. And that's something I feel like we also share at, breakfast brunches with other creator founders. And so I would say our two main drivers are one, our website, which is faceworld.com. We publish a lot under our blog. We also have a specific section that says sponsorship. We don't hide it, and we show brands, the 35 plus brands that we have worked with in the past number of years, and we show them specific case studies, examples. We show them different packages. We have essential, essential plus, that sort of thing. So kind of give your clients different options to choose from. Recently, I got better at asking people when they reach out to me. I always ask them, "How did you discover me?" Now, some people don't remember, most people do. And one of the affiliate manager, uh, I guess she said she was searching on YouTube under videos, and she said specifically the keywords she was using was AI educator, which made me really happy because I think, I didn't realize I kind of fell into that particular niche, and I'm really proud of it.
Oh, but you should be. And look,
Mhm.
if anything, we're gonna update the intro here to add that in, right?
Nice, nice. That's a good idea.
Faye, founder and AI educator. Now that's really cool. Now you touched on the website for a second. I just want to, stay on it for a second, just because, of course, it's relevant to our audience and what we do at Pathmonk.
Hmm.
Um, so you have the sponsorship, you have all the packages and everything, and it's super cool. In your experience, from your experience, Faye, what does make a website actually convert? And is it the design made a certain way? Is it the messaging? Is it SEO? Like in your experience, what are the even tools, right? We just talked about the tech stack. What are the
Hmm.
things that actually move the needle when it comes to getting people to move to the next stage and do business with you, for example?
Yeah, for sure. So, as I mentioned at the very beginning, and this is maybe an area, the time to kind of dive in a little bit deeper. Long story short, we really focus on quality content, and you have to build your content strategically, whether it's written, text content, or videos. You notice at this point, we haven't even mentioned like just purely social media. That's an area, founders have to choose. Do you want to be on all platforms? Where do you specialize? For us, it's definitely blogs and our YouTube channel. So I would say building contextual footprint, like what does it actually mean? I think when these brands, 11 Labs, Adobe discovered us, it wasn't like they read a super short post that was written by ChatGPT. There was no human touch. They really want someone to demonstrate how a human being uses it. So from a title perspective, these are not necessarily directly related to tech just yet. From the title perspective, since I've been writing also for CNET, ZDNet, Lifehacker, I'm learning a lot from their editorial team to say, instead of saying how to do something, the context is shifted to how I do something. So there's a huge difference. It's hard for, ask ChatGPT, how does Faye do this? ChatGPT wouldn't know. Maybe it does know a lot better now because I've been publishing so much lately. But I think it's also important to understand how to structure your content. So there are a lot of examples on FaceWorld. We definitely, and that's our best practices right there in the open. And I would also recommend people search for, FaceWorld, how to build a brand in 2026. We completely, kind of open up the curtain and just showing you everything, how we think, how we structure the content. So, what we tell brands is that, entities are very different than keywords. So what does that mean? Entities actually exist in context. So in the past 20 years, when it comes to Google SEO, we just talk about keywords, keyword ranking, SEO, but it's not that simple anymore. What does Nike mean, for example, in the context of keyword? It's not just a keyword. We help AI through our articles and videos, help AI understand that Nike is the brand that primarily sells shoes to athletes and everyday people. So that context really matters. And believe it or not, our lived experiences and building trust in our content is absolutely essential in letting AI see what is quality versus what's not. So how do brands discover us is not necessarily through, oh, these fancy different plugins. Though with that said, I would love to learn more about PathMonk because we've always been surprised how much we learn from, different companies. We do use things, I should mention, thirsty affiliates. We use rank math, things like that. But not insane amount of plugins thrown on our WordPress website. So yeah, I should pause there to see there's really a lot of like rabbit holes to go down on.
Yeah, no, that was great. I appreciate you sharing that and also touching on the, on the tech a little bit. That was really good. You also mentioned you've been publishing a lot lately, right?
Mhm.
So I'm sure you're busy with that a lot. Um, Maybe you switch gears for a second, Faye. We talk about
Mhm.
you, right? What do you
Mhm.
do on a daily basis, and more about you as a person in general, right? So what's a day in the life like for Faye, and what's your typical workday like? Also, do you mind sharing that
Yeah.
with us?
Oh, I would love to. I think for creators and small business owners, how we live our lives absolutely inform all the creative work we do. And that's something that I also let all my team members know as well. My head of content, Herman, I love when he travels. He takes time off and be completely, digital detox, like leaving his cell phones behind. I love when my content creator for my mom's business, Xiangli Art, with all our works behind me, Tripti will recently went on a vacation in Phoenix and Scottsdale, and I ask her, how her trip has been. She loves visiting art museums because everything we do really informs our work and make ourselves better. For me, I think my mantra for 2026 has been for the past few years, but particularly started last year and more importantly this year, is that I really want to stay active. As much as I know we're all being very productive in front of the computer, we can type away, 10,000 words at a time. You record videos from scripting, turning around on my equipment so set up here. I ask myself to get up every 45 minutes. I have an Apple Watch that reminds me. I'm wearing a Aura ring that's being charged right now. It's actually fully charged. I go to CrossFit pretty much 4 to 5 times a week. As I mentioned to you, I only started weightlifting 6 months ago. I wish I did 10, 15 years ago or more, but I was having too much fun as a martial artist where, when I trained for 20 years, I have a third degree in black belt, but I love moving my body over 35. So I love the fact that I don't just talk about these things anymore. We're talking about them in a video, write about in the blog post. I want the consistency, not nurturing, to actually apply to the real me. So
Mm.
I love that. And I will quickly mention that as we're recording this, but with Lunar Chinese Lunar New Year coming up in February, I've arranged from my mom's artwork, her Chinese Empress's collection painted on large 100% silk panels to be displayed near here at Worcester Art Museum. And then in Boston, which is Museum of Fine Arts in Boston, we also have a private opening and people are happy to, they can RSVP as well in Cambridge at Lab Central on February 26th. There'll be free food and open bar to celebrate her art.
Wow, that is awesome. Thanks for sharing that first and foremost. And I opened the call just with asking about the art because it's so amazing. So
Thank you.
we'll find a way to put that in the show notes because again, I'll have to ask you more about it if there's a website we can visit. But aside
Oh,
from that,
absolutely.
that there's more about you here, and I appreciate you sharing, about your CrossFit passion
Mhm.
and your experience in martial arts, right?
Yeah.
So we go back in a way to what you mentioned just a few minutes ago about going from how to how I, right? Because
Hmm.
people connect with people at the end of the day, and this is
Hmm.
my opinion, but um, it's very much different to reading how someone does something
Hmm.
as opposed to I'll tell you, I'll teach you, right? Because of course you
Yeah.
can have that authority, and that's fine. But many
Hmm.
times people just want to relate and
Hmm.
understand. and understand, how you are as a person, which is sometimes hard to do in a blog post, but depending on what you write about. But I think that encompasses really like even just with your answers now, uh, you know, you're showing you, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, that's super cool.
That's very important, actually. I would encourage people to build that into whatever the content they're creating, whether it's written content or as you're hosting a podcast. I think one thing I want to point out early in 2014, when I just started producing podcasts, my audience told me that I rarely talked about myself because I think, especially as a woman of color, I felt like I didn't want to talk about myself. I didn't think people would be interested. I'm the host. I should really shine the light only on my guest. And I was completely wrong. People are very interested in who the host is because you're the common denominator. You are there all the time. It's the guests that actually change. Even one of my a dear colleague, she was teaching me and sharing that. Faye, look at the stats. A lot of people even just listen to the beginning, the start of the intro about what she's been up to, what she's working on, what she's interested in. And that was fascinating to me.
Yeah, I'm sure it is, and we'll take a note or two here at Pathmonk on how to do that. So thanks for
Yeah,
sharing.
let's do it.
So Faye, we're going into towards the end of our episode and our time together here, unfortunately. But let's end it on a fun note. We have a rapid fire segment, right?
Hmm.
So I have just a few questions that I want to run by you, and there's a couple, surprise ones maybe in there. But
Well,
um,
let's
would you be
see.
ready for it?
Yeah, I'm very flexible. I know some common questions that tend to come up, so I did write down a few things, but let's give it a shot.
Sweet, let's do that. So when it comes to content, do you prefer watching, reading, or listening?
Watching.
Watching. Okay. What's the
Yeah,
latest
depending
piece
on
of?
mood, but watching
Okay.
mostly.
No, that's fair. And I see, there's typically it's a mix, right? Because you
Hmm.
can watch and listen to a podcast. So
It's
it's
true.
yeah, no, I get it. I was gonna say, what's the latest piece of content that you watched then, and was there anything that really stuck with you?
You know, it did because so I actually don't remember this gentleman's name, but he's a gym owner. If you look up he basically lost an eye when he was a child, but he's this like super jacked guy. He runs this incredible gym in Iowa with his fiance, and it really struck with me in terms of human resilience. And it's beyond inspirational. And that's also because as a result of a project I worked on years ago called Enable Disabled. So I think that, creators and what we can do really has no boundaries. Anyway, that's a longer answer. I will stop there.
No worries. That's beautiful. Thanks for sharing. If you had a magic wand, Faye, and could
Mhm.
fix one frustrating thing in your marketing life with tech, what would you
Mhm.
pick?
So I want to really teach people and drill in contextual footprint is so important. And especially for creators and businesses who want to maybe work with some of the brands I work with, I think they need to understand that as an essential part for them to be seen and to be recognized.
That's beautiful. What's one repetitive task that you love to put on autopilot forever?
There are several. I think AI is great with drafting, structuring, and helping me review endless brand contracts. I still read every word, but AI can help me kind of summarize, immediately pinpoint things that could be troublesome. And I really hope everybody could just start doing that.
Yeah, just to help with personal productivity in a way. And
Yeah, and
yeah, of
repurposing, content repurposing, which is something I really
course.
wanted to. Maybe you guys are already doing that already, but with these podcasts, like repurposing with shorter clips and some shorter posts and articles are really important too.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Last one. If you could go back and give your past self a quick pep talk at the start of your journey,
Mm.
marketing, in your career in general, what kind of advice would you drop?
I think even 10 years ago, I was in my early 30s. I was so excited about everything, like everyone else is. But really having a level of focus is so important. Knowing who you are, what you're good at, um, the setup you have, the resources you have. Focus on the thing that you're working on. It doesn't have to be one thing for the next 3 years, but I would say generally like 2 to 3 things is okay. Kind of just explore, but don't be tricked by shiny objects, virality. those things actually don't last. So having surrounding yourself with a trusted community and circle really essential because I think we're in an age where we need less persuasion and more trust.
That's yeah, I agree with that. And
Yeah.
you touched on something that's the shiny object syndrome. I mean, I think many of us, myself included, would
Mhm.
suffer from it. And you get to a point in life where hopefully you get to pick your focus, and it's a completely different world. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's liberating in a way.
very much so. And
Yeah,
you make so much more progress too.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. Faye, thanks a lot for being on the show with us today. I want to give you the last word. If someone forgets everything about the interview, which I doubt, okay, what is the one thing that you should remember about the work you guys are doing?
So I think contextual footprint, what does that mean exactly? I think in this day and age, think about where people are searching for you or your services, your company. They are on ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude. If you can rank on those LLMs, you're going to transform your business. But focus on authenticity, focusing on how you and your services can be understood by AI and by human beings. And I do want to give a shout out. I thought you were going to ask me about a book that I encourage people to read and learn. There's a great AI book by Fei Li, not me, the other Fei. And it's an incredible book. And my friend Tripti bought it for me, and I started reading it. I do highly recommend. I even wrote down the full name. It's The Worlds I See: Curiosity, Exploration, and Discovery at the Dawn of AI by Fei Li. So
Ooh.
check it out.
All right, that's an interesting one, relevant for every one of us really involved in this conversation or listening to it. So thanks for sharing
Sure.
that. Yeah, that was beautiful.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
Hey, if someone wants to check you guys out and see what you're all about and maybe understand more about your services, even how can they do that?
Yeah, very simple. Go visit our website, Feis World. That's F as in Frank, EIS world.com. And we have a blog, we have a sponsorship page. You send us an email, it's me who's reading it. We also, of course, have a YouTube channel, also under Face World, Face World Media, but we're pretty consistent everywhere on social media, YouTube, blog. So hope to hear from you guys.
Beautiful. Faye, thanks again for sharing your insights. I wish you a wonderful day.
Thank you so much, Rick.